Good morning, boys and girls. Today I'm going to read another book written by one of my favorite authors, Andrea Beaty. She wrote Sophia Valdez, Future Prez, which was published last November, and I added to our classroom library. And I had not had a chance to read it to my kids, so I went into school one day and I grabbed this off the shelf because I wanted to share it. Sophia was a baby who got things done, helping her family before she turned 1. She and Abuelo went out every week to help elderly friends around Blue River Creek who couldn't get out and about on their own and with no place to gather were stuck home alone. It is always kind to help one another. Raking the leaves, taking pets for a walk, or just dropping by for a treat and a talk. Sophia Valdez did as much as she could for her family and friends and her whole neighborhood. A dreamer, a doer, a real-life go-getter. Most people like good, but Sophia liked better. Each morning, Abuelo walked Sophie to class. They walked home again along Blue River Pass, making plans, munching cookies, Abuelo and girl. Except for that Tuesday when Pup saw a squirrel. With a howl, Pup took off, racing all through the town, over, under, beneath, all around. Sophia scrambled to try to keep up with the hollering man and the bellowing pup. And there's the puppy chasing the squirrel. And Abuelo is chasing the puppy. And Sophia is chasing her abuelo. Does anybody know what an abuelo is? It means grandfather. Up the squirrel ran to the top of the hill, made of leftover junk for the local landfill. They reached the tip top of that mountain of trash, which jiggled and broke with an ear-splitting crash. Down they all tumbled and hit with a thud on a moldy old pumpkin surrounded by mud. Ouch, cried Abuelo. He struggled to stand. A dangerous mess, he said, grasping her hand. He hurt his foot. The next day, Sophia walked to school solo, but it wasn't the same without her abuelo. This is not right, declared young Sophia, who glared at Mount Trashmore and got an idea. Look at all that trash. The next morning at dawn, she planted a sign on the front lawn. She stood back and smiled, and Pup gave a bark. Get rid of Mount Trashmore. Let's build a new park. Each of her neighbors had something to say about benches and fountains and places to play. Meeting spots, gardens, a basket for bees, a rubber duck pond, and a kiosk for cheese. She drew every thought on her map of the park, which was perfectly perfect by quarter till dark. Everybody's there together making a plan. She drifted to sleep in her soft, cozy bed. Then, bam! She woke up when a thought smacked her head. Her heart skipped a beat as she realized each one of her neighbors had said, "Let me know when it's done." They all thought Sophia could build it alone. But how could one girl do so much on her own? The weight of that thought made her tender heart ache, as night thunder growled and she laid wide awake. Then dawn brought a storm, and the gloomy sky wept, and the heartsick Sophia finally slept. Abuelo baked cookies when Sophie got up. He gave her a bagful and sneaked one to Pup. He blinked back a tear as he hugged his Sophia. For courage, he whispered. Ti amo, ma vida. Sophia's knees wobbled. She felt weak inside. She looked at his ankle and quite nearly cried. Though she didn't feel brave or courageous at all, Sophia Valdez went to City Hall. And right here is the library, and this is City Hall. And here's Sophia standing in front of that very, very big, intimidating building. The mayor's office sent her to room 401, the Blue River Creek Department of Fun, which sent her downstairs to room 302, the office of duck ponds and cool things to do, to the office of monkeys, the Department of Cheese, the Division of Fountains and Meetings and Bees. Then down to the basement, so musty and cramped, where all the town's papers were sorted and stamped. And that's where the clerk said what no one else did. You can't build a new park. You're only a kid. You think that's true? The words smacked Sophia deep down in her heart. Her plan was kiboshed before it could start. I think, said Sophia, I think that law's wrong. But her second grade voice didn't sound very strong. The clerk said, clearly, it cannot be done. Do you have any questions? Sophia said, one. If you were me, and if I was you, and he was your grandpa, what would you do? Well, said the clerk. Then she said nothing at all. She thought and she thought. Then she sent out a call to every employee throughout City Hall. The entire government of Blue River Creek crammed into the office to hear Sophie speak. But her words jumbled up and her cheeks turned bright red as a dozen emotions rushed into her head. Her heart beat so loudly she thought it would crack. The crowd leaned in closer. Sophia leaned back. Then her arm brushed the edge of the old cookie sack. And that was the moment when Sophia first knew being brave means doing the thing you must do. Though your heart cracks with fear, though you're just in grade 2. Very intimidating. She took a deep breath, looked the mayor in the eye, and though her knees wobbled, she held her head high. Sophia started talking. She spelled out her plan and why it all mattered and how it began. And once she got rolling, she had lots to say about meeting spots, monkeys, and places to play, and other ideas for things they could do to help the town elders and other folks too. She had thoughts on the library, thoughts on the zoo, and perhaps a way to combine the two. And these are her drawings of all the things she wants to put in the place in the park. All right, cried the mayor. So start a petition. If the town wants a new park, we'll form a commission. And so young Sophia got right to work with some help from her family and Pup and the clerk. Let's build a park. Sign our petition, please. Bark for park. Even Pup had a sign on. Then others joined in, not all but a few, like Miss Lila Greer and the kids in grade 2. Her teacher showed up. Isn't that cool? And there's Rosie Revere right there. There were hearings and surveys and taxes to figure, then bulldozers, cranes, and a blue bigger digger. They all built that park. That's how it got done, with the hard work of, by, and for everyone. But it began with the dream of one person, just one, who laced up her shoes and then led the way to help Blue River Creek get a new place to play. Now, every evening till long after dark, the town comes together at Citizens Park. They all hold the truth to be self-evident that Sophia Valdez could grow up to be president. Until then, Sophia, the real life go-getter, helps Blue River Creek get better and better. And there is the beginning of Citizens Park. I hope you enjoyed this book, boys and girls. Sophia Valdez, we will see her again. There's a new book coming out in the fall of 2020, and I'm super excited to add it to my collection. I hope everybody has a wonderful Friday. Keep smiling.